Hey guys, BeardBrigade here, coming at you with Tabletop Tuesday. So happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope your Monday wasn't too horrible, and or Monster Monday got you through any long Mondays you may have had. So, uh, in this episode today, sorry, I have a cat in my lap, so I'm kind of giving the cat some attention here. It has, say hi to the camera, Mr. Binks. So this is Binks. He's my buddy. He follows me everywhere. He used to want nothing to do. Oh, that's the chin. That's the spot. That's the spot. Oh, yes, Dad. Oh, yes, Dad. Anyway, so in today's episode, we are going to be. We're just doing. So in today's episode, guys, we are continuing on with our homebrew series that I've been working on by Binks. He ran away just now. And so with the last two episodes, the first episode we kind of set up our map. Last episode we talked about kind of like what types of animals we would see in the world based on different regions, and this kind of thought process that I've come up with over the last few years for that. So, but before last episode, which you guys saw in the last episode, I made a bunch of new changes to the map. I had assumed some more time had gone on and made some edits. But one of the things that happened at the end of our first episode was that one of the three gods that we were playing as placed humans onto the map. So I had about 2,000 years go by where the rest of the land developed, and sorry, I keep looking down at the map. So I basically, 2,000 years have gone by, and humans were there the whole time. Now, what I consider this, or what I consider happening for this, leading up to this, or picking up at the end of that 2,000 year mark, is that they were in, like, caveman, like the Stone Age. Very basic rudimentary weaponry, most of the time being used for hunting, nomadic tribes that go around and stay away from each other, very little interaction with one another, just really, caveman, hunt the animals, feed the animals, reproduce. That's about it, all they do. Now, at the end of that 2,000 year period, the world is now beginning to change, and they, as people, are now starting to develop and starting to aim for mixing some things up. So, and starting to become, civilizations, so to speak. So, what I've done, my thought process here is to, based on the size of the maps that I have, since we're assuming that these are Pangea twice, so this planet is twice the size of Earth, I picked 4, what's the word I'm looking for? This is probably not going to be the right word. Example? No. I basically picked 4 ancient civilizations, well, semi-ancient civilizations, some of them aren't, as like the basis for the 4 major cultures I'm going to show up with at the beginning of mankind beginning to civilize. So, we will pop down and check out the map here so you guys can follow along with what I'm about to do. And we are picking up at the end of that 2,000 year period where now humans are just starting to become civilized and starting to build civilizations and be adapting to some new things happening in the world. So, here we go, guys. So this was our map where we left off, or where I showed you guys after the fact. So, it's the end of that 2,000 year period, and we're just now beginning to see the sparks of civilization. So, the first one, oddly enough, I'm going to start with is down here in this desert, this whole desert region right here. So we're actually just going to, like, right on the edge of the lake, the desert, and this forest. So, like, we got this, like, little trifecta here. We're just going to label it number 1 for right now. Trying to draw it all fancy like, but it's not really working out. I don't know how well you guys can see that either. So, right here. So this is going to be our first settlement. This culture that I'm kind of picturing down here, that are, depending on how things turn out in our next episode, what we'll be doing, we'll be kind of going back to Dawn of Worlds. I'm going to be doing kind of a tweaked version of Dawn of Worlds, using some things that I altered for what I have in mind to do next episode. So, boom, this first settlement here. Now, this first settlement, we're going to go ahead and call Kizu or Kaizu. Not sure how it's pronounced, to be honest. I used my random name generator, which you can find a link to that in the description below. And I used Ancient Egypt as the basis for this one. So that was one of the city names, and I really liked it. So I kind of went with it. So down here we have this ancient Egyptian civilization, type civilization, starting to form. And they start building this settlement right here as a way to, as a basis. They have this fresh water, they have these trees, and they have all this sand and stuff that we can make like adobe bricks, and they start building this, Egyptian-like type of culture. And it's starting off as like a small town. Now they've been, roaming around these deserts for some time, over 2,000 years. So what also happens is that towards the end of this 2,000-year period, perhaps, shortly after this settlement is made, a group treks off across the desert and sets up a second city, like a sister city, or a sister town, which we're label number 2. Down here by this water, right off the lake area here. Now they call this city, it's named Geka, G-E-C-A. Again, still part of these same people, and maybe they've plotted out like a route to take through the desert to get there. Essentially opening up like almost a trade route between the two. And they become very ancient Egyptian. Like they're beginning to see, very, beginnings of what you would consider an Egyptian culture. So that's kind of our first group of people that are developing here at the end of this 2,000-year period. So next up, let's go with those folks. So over on this side of the map, so this whole area we know is snowy. We have this little tidbit in here that's a more temperate area, and then of course most of this over here is temperate until you hit the swamp, or jungle, and desert here on the edge. Now, a human civilization that starts popping up over here is very Roman based, and they set up a city right here, which we're going to label as number 3. And we're going to go ahead and call that one Brixia. Again, I used that name generator to come up with these names. And that's the settlement that they set up. It's along this river. they see this kind of isolated land area here, and they're beginning this kind of like Romanesque type uh, society, very Italian kind of basis, and they're trying to think of ways now, seeing this area over here, like, how do we get over there? Like, and because they see this lush forest here, they see these mountain ranges, and it's just very isolated. They don't know how to get over there, and that's kind of the start of their culture, is trying to figure out and develop technologies to get them over to there. So they have their starting area of Brixia. Starting area of Brixia. They begin this settlement of Brixia right there along that river as kind of their base of operations. Kind of puts them smack down in the middle too. They have the access to this water. They have these mountains ahead, above, to the north of them, or actually I shouldn't say to the north of them. I'll cover that in a little bit here. And then they have these woods down here. So, they have a good range of different areas to go to. So next up, though, we have... So next up, we have our next culture, which, again, and I'm going to kind of set it up the same way here, a little bit. Yes and no. Actually, ooh. Yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, so for our third culture, I'm going very ancient Greek with these guys. So first up, right here next to these hills, which we're going to label as number 4, is the township, or the beginnings of a town city called Magnon, based on ancient Greeks. Now, another one, and I'm going to consider this, let's think of this, let's stick with that ancient Greek mindset and think city-states. So a group of folks, split off from maybe this nomad group, decide to settle down and create this town of Magnon. And over some little bit of time passes, and the rest of those people end up also making, or the remaining people who didn't split off originally and stayed as nomads for a little while, they end up going over and making their way all the way around to the opposite end of the lake, or whatever this big water structure is, which we're going to label as number 5, and set up the beginning of a civilization in a place they call Pagius, creating almost 2 separate but related city-states in that area. So right here, we have 2 city-states based on Greek. So now our last civilization is going to be Viking-esque. So let's see here. We don't have a very big snowy area here, so we're going to make them over here. And, ooh yeah, what better way than to drop one guy here, which we're going to label as number 6. So number 6 here is going to be like the village of Magandi. No, Magandir. Because that sounded weird, Magandi. Doesn't sound very Viking-esque. So, Magandir. Sounds a little more Viking-esque, I guess. I don't know, I feel like putting an IR at the end of something. Makes it sound a little more Viking. That's probably terrible on my part, and I mean absolute no offense by that, but I don't know, that's my feeling. So, now, next up though, these same people also set up a second settlement, and we're going to go ahead and set that one up. Boom. Right over here, we're going to label number 7, where that one's going to be called Skalaholt. So that is our initial 4 base civilizations in which things are going to develop from. Now, you guys are probably wondering why I've done this. So the reason why I picked 4 and why I've set these initial points for which they're going to develop is over the next couple episodes we're going to start to go into, as time has progressed by, again, kind of taking this Darwin approach, so to speak, to how these races develop and change, or not, I guess we could say races. These are humans that are in these different environments, and they're sticking in these environments that slowly, over thousands of years, would make sense for them to start to evolve to and fit their environment. At least that would be my thought. I mean, granted, here on Earth, we've been in, the same thing, and we haven't seen people, grow fur. Well, I guess it's 100% true. But, we haven't seen, people grow fur, who live in cold environments that are cold, 95% of the time. But, we're in a fantasy setting, so, I'm looking for things to make sense, and I want to take that more, like I said, more natural approach to how I approach different things. At least that's the way I prefer things. So, that's what we're going to be going for. Now, in the next episode, things are going to be a little different, because we're going to be going back to Dawn of Worlds to do that with. We'll also, our old gods are still going to be having, they've been quiet for a little bit, so now it's going to be time for them to get back into the business of things, and start interfering with these human cultures that are beginning to form. So, but guys, there's one other thing we have to address. Now, last episode, we talked about, or not last episode, yesterday's episode of Monster Monday, we covered the origin of dragons, or the first dragons, and some ideas that I had for bringing dragons into a setting, for the very first time in its history, that moment where somebody sees this creature and goes, hey, that's a dragon. So I decided to go with, again, fitting with the theme, going with this evolution concept. So down here, when this volcano formed, there was some kind of lizard species. Somehow this lizard species ended up surviving down there. So over the few thousand years that have gone by, unbeknownst to man, this lizard species has slowly begun to evolve, forming what has become the first dragons. Now, at the end of this 2,000-year period, where these settlements have started to pop up, the first one that gets affected is Kizu, which is what's going to really spark and have a huge, obviously, huge impact on this Egyptian culture that's down there. Make a couple of notes here real quick. So, and then that was, okay. So, Kizu, and as these settlements form, we're going to go ahead and just say this is at year 0. This is going to be our year 0 starting point. Oh, you guys can kind of see my notes. Here's a little scratch paper I'm writing notes on. Because I don't have my notebook with me, and I'm going to be using a new notebook soon. Because that notebook's almost out of paper, so I'm writing some stuff down for easy transfer later. So, here's what's going to happen, guys. Let me pull up this little fancy-dancy thing. So, on my phone, I have the RPG Simple Dice app. A great little app. It has D4 through D100 on it. You can set how many dice you can roll, and you can even set a positive or negative modifier to that roll. And in fact, let me just kind of, I don't know how well you guys can see it. I don't have any, currently I don't have any software that I could plug my phone into and do screen caps with. Hopefully maybe one day I will, but as of right now I don't. So, that's weird. You can see a light on and I can't. That's interesting. This little light up here, that's not actually on my phone and you guys can see it. I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, sidetracked. So, we're going to go ahead and pick the, you know what, let's say, we'll go with a D4. Whoops. No, not quite yet. So, or here, let's do this. So, first thing that might happen, so the Kizu is going to get struck by a dragon attack. First time ever. Okay? First time we're ever going to see a dragon. So the first potential thing that can happen is severe damage to the town with the Egyptian folk down here, retaliating. Now they have this focus to kill dragons. Second thing that can happen is severe damage and they revere dragons as gods. Where's the dragon god? Third option I'm thinking of, well, I don't know why I'm writing number 4 right after. Of course, I had to get the one pencil that doesn't have an eraser. That's a really crappy eraser. Town is completely destroyed. Leading... let's go ahead and say this. So, leading to, again, revering dragons. Option 4, again, we'll do another complete destruction. Destroy, this time retaliating. I'm totally spelling retaliate wrong. I know I am. Option 5, they killed the dragon. Because I'm going to consider that as a possibility. Or option 6, we'll go ahead and say this, they befriend the dragon. So those are our 6 options. So we're going to use a D6 instead. So once I hit D6, it's going to go off. So you guys know the numbers because I just said them. Of course, I'll repeat it after I roll it. So I'm going to roll here live on the phone. Well, I guess this isn't technically live. And whatever option it is, we'll kind of kick off their history, and we will pick up with that next episode. So, let's go ahead and roll here, guys. Bloop. 1. So, Alright, guys. Then Kizu is attacked at our year 0 point. That's what we're going to call this. Kizu is attacked, suffers severe damage, and jumpstarts this Egyptian Empire to become like dragon hunters, basically. So, bada boom. So guys, that's where we're gonna leave off on this episode. I know it was kind of short and sweet and to the point this time, and that's one thing I'm really focusing on, because I know I can kind of ramble and drag things out a little bit. So I'm trying to keep things shorter and to the point, especially after the first Tabletalk Tuesday, guys. I'm so sorry about that one. I really feel like I should probably go back and re-edit that one for you guys, and maybe try and post a shorter version of it. Because I kind of just, it was me playing Dawn of Worlds by myself, essentially, with a bunch of pre-rolled numbers, and then just kind of randomly hodgepodging the whole thing together. So, anyway, you guys know what time it is, so we're going to try this again here. So, you guys, of course, if you've enjoyed the video so far, and are looking forward to me continuing the series, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down wherever it is. Down, I think it's, yes, right somewhere down, right down there. I'm pretty sure. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me, hit the bell. That way YouTube will let you know the next time I have my YouTube lets you know the next time I have an episode up. And then if you guys want to, you can always check me out on my different social medias, which should be popping up right above here. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and of course I am doing streams on Twitch for different things, so you can find me there. So these will all be popping up on screen. Bing, bing, bing. Probably totally missed them all. Again, guys, I'm not very good, and I'm dealing with that as a blank space to put all that stuff in. So I'm trying, guys. I really am. Hopefully, it's at least a little bit entertaining to see that stuff. So, yeah, you guys can check me out there. Also, there'll be that stuff will be listed in the comments, the description below, so you can find that down there as well as a few other resources that I have placed down there for you guys. So you know what that means. It's time to update the playlist. So, first up, Nerd Eclectic playlist. We said last episode, which was yesterday for our Monster Monday, that we're going with some video game music. So, let me pull up this playlist here, see what songs we can come up with. You know what? Might as well. You know, we're going to go with a different version. We're going to find this version. Is it this one? I think it's this one. So there is a cover of, or since the episode yesterday was about dragons, and we're ending off with the episode of the appearance of dragons, might as well go with Skyrim, right? I mean, I'm doing Skyrim all month as a showcase of Skyrim, which, by the way, guys, tune in tomorrow for our first part of a Skyrim playthrough that I'm working on for your guys' amusement. So we're going to go with the Skyrim theme, or the Skyrim main theme. We're doing the version by Peter Hollins, and I hope the version I'm adding it is also the Peter Hollins Lindsey Sterling version. I hope that's the one I'm actually adding. It doesn't list it, it just says the Peter Hollins one. But when I looked it up, it showed that it was Peter Hollins and Lindsey Sterling, so hopefully I found the right one. That is going to be our Nerdquactic song, guys. So, that is, of course, the time you guys love to laugh at me. You know it. You love it. It is time, guys, for the song of the day. Yeah, yeah. Song of the day. Yeah, yeah. I've done the dig. Be happy. Please remix it. Please don't. I'm lying. Please don't remix it. Please don't make a fool of me. Actually, no, you guys have permission to make fun of me all you want. I have no problem with it. You know, because I can sit here and laugh at it just as much as you guys do. So, in fact, every time I edit the video, I laugh at me because how stupid I look doing it. So, time to head over to our favorites here and see what songs we're gonna add. And ooh, there's a couple good ones right off the bat. Oh, there's so many good ones. Man. You know, guys, this is rough. There are so many good ones. Oh, man. Let's see. Oh, here we go. That'll be the fitting one, guys. So, our song of the day. We're heading back. It's been the first time in a long time I've actually picked out a song by these guys. No worry, it's not Psycho Stick. It's King 810. Really great band. They have a very I don't want to say informative message, but you know, I think what he's trying to achieve through his music, this guy who started the band King 810, is draw attention to the plight of, and I could go completely wrong about this, you know, just bringing attention to the plight of the city that he's from, which is Flint, Michigan, I believe. Anyway, he you know, was, I guess, born and raised in Flint, Michigan, which is like the most dangerous city in the country. Our own country, guys. So, you know, it seems like really just violent, angry metal music, but when you really listening to what the story he's telling through his music and the attention that he's trying to bring to the city and show the importance of his message, I think it's when you look at it as more than just metal music. I think it's striving to be much more. At least that's how I interpret it, because I had no idea about Flint, Michigan, or the things that, one, the city has gone through, and two, the things that the people there have to live and deal with. And you know, we're living in America. You know, some of the things that, you know, the stories you hear or read about, you wouldn't believe, you know, just walking down the street, that these things would happen somewhere in our country. So, you know, definitely you know, give them a listen and you know, really. No, I think it's a good thing to know and understand and be aware of the things that are going on in our country. So, and things that have gone on in our country. I think it gives us a better understanding. Um, one as people, but two as well as for those of you who are watching my videos or these video series for um, the creative ideas I'm coming through. It's still good to know things that go on in our country because it helps spark ideas and it helps spark understanding and awareness. That way, when you do tackle a topic, you're not tackling it inappropriately, or you're not, unless you're tackling it as an intent to be like a parody, making sure that you have knowledge of these things and how sensitive some of these topics can be, um, just having an understanding of that. So, anyway, I've kind of rambled on a little bit about that song, sorry guys. But the song itself is Vendettas by King 810. Super fantastic song, really well composed, in my opinion. So that is going to be our song of the day, guys. Definitely check that one out and check out King 810. And if it sparks your interest in learning more about where this guy is from and that stuff, definitely go check it out. So, boom, there are our playlists, guys. That wraps us up for this episode. So thank you guys so much for there. So that wraps us up, guys. Thank you so much for always for tuning in to my episodes. I hope you've enjoyed. I've already covered the likes and social media and stuff, so I won't go over it again. So as always, guys, you take care of yourselves and have a super, super fantastic rest of your day.